my name is Alex Carlucci with GustonShow.com. I want to talk to you about people who have different types of income. For example, let's say you are an hourly worker and you are making overtime. Let's say you're working 50 hours a week and you think, hey, I'm making $75,000 this year, I qualify. You tell me you make $75,000, then I do the application. For some reason I missed it on your pay stubs. We start getting verification of employment, so I find out you didn't make any overtime last year and all your overtime is in this year. I can't use that overtime. We need 2 years of overtime, and we have to average that overtime over those 2 years. If your overtime is declining, I can't use it really at all if it's declining aggressively. So there's a lot of weird rules with overtime, so keep that in mind. You don't get to use what you're making year-to-date overtime. I can use your hourly salary, so if you got a raise this year and you work 40 hours a week plus the other 10 hours, I can use the 40 hours times your new salary, but I can't use that big chunk of overtime you've been making for the last year because you don't have 2 years of getting it. Now, same thing with commission. Let's say you've been working at this company for 2 years, but only the last year you've been getting commission. Same thing as overtime. Average it. You have to be showing it for the last 2 years. If it's declining, you may not be able to use it at all. Bonuses, same thing. 2 years of receiving a bonus. If we don't have history of you receiving a bonus, only 1 year out of the last 2, then I cannot use that bonus. We'll only be able to use the base salary. So keep that in mind. If you're 1099, we have to average your adjusted gross income. So that's after you write off all your expenses. It's not you make 100 grand on your 1099, but you adjusted gross is only 50. I can only use 50. So keep that in mind. These other types of income are very tricky. If you're not salary, then it gets really tricky. If you're hourly, it gets tricky because sometimes people work 30 hours, 40 hours, 32 hours, 36 hours. It becomes variable, and then they want to start averaging your hours over the last 2 years. If you don't work a straight 40-hour week, it's tricky too. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of tricky income out there. It's not cut and dry. It doesn't make sense to my customers. It doesn't make sense to me sometimes. But these are the rules. If you got any questions, please give me a call. 630-915-7550. Please subscribe.